Now this is one fancy family SUV. I'll include a link to the Jerry Center GMC North Salt Lake's website in the description down below. They're providing us with this Acadia. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed. Fuel economy is 20 around town, 23 on the highway, with power outputs being 328 horsepower and then 326 pound-feet of torque. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. This one's finished in Downpour, which is this nice metallic blue. You've got these signature GMC C-shape headlights, lots of chrome trim on the grille being a Denali, fog lights down below as well as parking sensors. When you take it all in, the front end kind of makes it look like a mini Yukon. Tire and wheel setup is 255 by 55 by 20. The wheels are silver in coloration with a little bit of gray. Notice the bottom is painted black. The fender flares are painted to match the body, and then you've got chrome with the Denali badge, and then more on the window trim and then around the door handles. With all of that chrome and painted trim, it gives it a much more premium appearance. When it comes to key fob features, we have our lock and unlock function, remote start, the opening for the hatch, and then the GMC logo on the back. With the second row, you can lower it down. With the third row, you can raise and lower it with the power controls. One nice thing about the new Acadia is the amount of space behind the third row. With the third row folded down, it's massive in the back, but it's still usable with the third row folded up. The taillight kind of arcs across, another design cue that looks pretty good. We've got more of that chrome badging. Can't forget the fancy looking exhaust tips to all four of them. That will cap things off for the exterior. Keyless entry, and let's pop inside. Nice soft touch wood trim, cross stitching on the door panel to start. The seats have that same stitching design. They are perforated down the center. And even the third row seats have that fancy stitching. And I've gotten in the back of the third row before. You can fit adults in the rear. And there's also a decent amount of headroom and vents. Now in the second row, legroom's good. We've got a storage pocket. We have our own climate zone with heated seats and a cup holder. And of course, we've got more ventilation and good headroom. Keyless entry for up front, and let's check it out. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. We also have memory seats with this, and then you've got that same design with the cross stitching, the wood trim on the front door panel. And I almost forgot the mirrors do power fold in. Now this is a big family rig, so $1,556 for the payload. Denali on the headrest. You've got all that nice trim for the front seats, power adjustable with lumbar support. The passenger seats also power adjustable with lumbar support. To the left of the steering wheel, we have our drive mode select, your all-wheel drive mode select too, so you can have this in two-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and then your auto stop start. And let's fire this up. This one comes equipped with Super Cruise. You've got soft touch trim around the steering wheel with some more of that chrome trim. On the front face, we have the control for the center screen, heated steering wheel, voice command control, radio controls on the back of the steering wheel with paddle shifters, and then your Super Cruise controls there on the other side. This comes equipped with a column shifter, and then yes, we have a digital gauge cluster. You can change what the screen displays here. You can also change some of the formatting if you go into the settings with it, but yeah, it's pretty darn customizable. And then there is a heads-up display, 360 camera system, and you got a bunch of different angles. You can see it have good resolution overall. As for the infotainment system itself, it's kind of like a giant tablet. It does have these little physical toggles at the bottom as part of the climate, and then you'll note that it does have heated and ventilated seats with this package. Got a little knob for the volume control. But yeah, stuff like the light control is built into the screen. And then other items with the screen, pretty easy to access because it's quick to respond. But yeah, it's got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, shortcut button for the camera. We've got your auto park feature built in there too. Below the screen, we've got a phone charging pad with some USB ports, cup holders here, and then there's a ton of storage space underneath. It's kind of like a bridge on the top. Big center console, nice soft touch trim up top, more nice trim on the dash, camera rear view mirror with this, and no sunroof, surprisingly. I don't have the exact window sticker, but if memory serves me right, this is a bit over $60,000 for the MSRP. Let's take it out. Denali Acadia. I wonder how long it'll be until we see a Denali Ultimate with the Acadia. I mean, they've got it on all the other stuff, so I'm sure we'll eventually see it here too. And that'll be interesting because they do use kind of like, this has a different feel than like a Denali Yukon or a Sierra. So I kind of wonder what the Ultimate would be like with this vehicle, if they do that. Now, I've been reading a lot of, I'm obviously doing a bunch of these GMC and then the Chevy sibling, the Traverse videos, because the 26s just came out. That's just kind of how things work on this channel, right? Car comes out for the model year, and I review as many packages as I can, and then we don't see the car again, typically for another year. And everyone's talking about the 4-cylinder, and it's interesting because people that have bought it seem to like it, but then people that haven't bought it seem to not like it. And that's kind of a common theme in the car industry nowadays, where if people, like, you know, obviously, like, someone's not going to buy something they don't like, but if people don't like something, they, like, really don't like it. That's kind of what I'm noticing. But, you know, if you just take out 4-cylinder and you just drive this thing, it's got pretty good torque. It's not a rocket ship, but it feels quick enough, and it's actually pretty smooth with the power delivery too. And so, although it's not the most awe-inspiring powertrain on the planet, it gets the job done. But one thing that I will agree with everyone on is the fuel economy. That's the one thing about these 4-cylinders and bigger vehicles, is you just don't get better fuel economy than what you'd get with an NA engine, and a bigger NA engine like a V6 or even a V8. Like, the torque is, it shifts quick, it's smooth, it actually, it's pretty nice. It just doesn't sound all that great. And I think that's something that definitely upsets people, is they want a nicer sound, and I understand that. I completely understand that. Yeah, the ride quality is really smooth. That's one thing that I do like about the new Acadia and Traverse, is they are comfortable. Again, they're, you know, unibody independent suspension, and they're big unibody vehicles, and so you kind of get one of the best rides in a new car, because with the unibody, right, it's a little bit more rigid, and so it can actually corner and all of that. And then the independent suspension also helps with the cornering, but then it helps isolate things a little bit. Now, those things will transfer through the unibody, but it's not bad. It's big enough that if you do have a pretty big impact, it has a lot of car to go through, so it doesn't really impact you as the driver or passenger too much. It's nice. And, you know, like I said, this thing has a ton of space. It's very practical. So to pull everything together, the Denali is fancy, but hear me out on this. This is actually, I mean, I'm not about getting like the fanciest stuff, but I do think this is a really good family car with how this is packaged. You got the cooled seats up front, heated seats in the second row, obviously heated up front. Super Cruise is nice. I mean, imagine road trips where you're, you know, letting the car do most of the driving. Like, that's nice. That's nice to be able to kind of sit back. Well, you know, when you're driving for 6, 10, 12 hours, it's nice to be able to sit back and let the car do a little bit of work for you. And it also has pretty good range. So we're at about half a tank, and it indicates about, so this is about 500 miles of range on a tank. So it's not as good as the big boys that have bigger fuel tanks that can get, like, you know, 600 plus miles of range, but still, that's good range, right? I mean, 500 miles between tanks, your personal tank, your bladder's probably going to run out before, or not run out, but be full rather, and you'll need to empty it before this runs out of gas. So it seems, sorry, I thought I was gonna sneeze. Sorry, it seems like it's got enough. It's got more than enough range. So let me guys think about the Acadia Denali. It's expensive, but if you use this as like a family road trip vehicle, it definitely could be worth it, especially with the Super Cruise and the luxury and the comfort. And I do think they do, yeah, they do the double pane windows in this, so it's a little bit more insulated. So there's a lot that makes this a little bit more of a luxe experience for road trips.